Author's note. This video is my review of Animaniacs Wakko's Wish, based on Animaniacs by and directed by Tom Ruegger, with assistance in directing by Liz Holtzman and Rusty Mills. Published by Warner Bros. Animation and Amblin Entertainment. Available on Hulu. Starring the voices of Jess Harnell, Rob Paulson, Tress MacNeille, Maurice LaMarche, Sherry Stoner, Nathan Ruger, Nancy Cartwright, Frank Welker, John Mariano, Chick Venner, Bernadette Peters, Julie Brown, Paxton Whitehead, Paul Rugg, Tom Bodette, Stephen Bernstein, and Ben Stein as the Desire Fulfillment Facilitator, but everyone calls him Pip. Rated G. This review is dedicated to the memory of Richard Stone, the Emmy Award-winning composer responsible for music in Animaniacs, Tiny Toons, Tasmania, and many other Warner Bros. Cartoons of the 90s.
What do you mean, go?
To where the star landed. Wishes need to be made in person.
No kidding?
And now Prince Blueblood talks about the Animaniacs.
Well, hello, my faithful subjects. I am Prince Blueblood, and I have something to say about the Animaniacs. All I see is a show full of juvenile slapstick humor and outdated references, starring 3 snot-nosed brats, 2 disgusting rats, an ensemble full of disease-ridden pests, and an old crowbait of a squirrel to top it off. This show, like Tiny Toons, is an example of why cartoons are bad for our young ones. In fact, bringing this show back on Hulu is proof that Hollywood never had a good idea in the first place.
22 years later and I'm still a knockout.
Ugh, the nerve of that blue blood, dissing a classic like Animaniacs. At least he had a smashing good time. Anyway, with the Animaniacs back with all new episodes on Hulu, let's take a look back at the original grand finale to this classic series. And by the way, apologies for the quality of this video. I wish this movie was on Blu-ray. The town of Acme Falls is undergoing a severe depression, and not even Wakko's hay penny can bring back the good old days. So when he makes a wish for a wishing star, he, along with his brother Yakko and his sister Dot, must travel the countryside to make that wish before the evil King Salazar beats them to the punch.
That is a horse. You are an imbecile.
Thank you.
What makes this special great was the fact that it featured nearly every character in the Animaniacs legacy. Pinky and the Brain, Slappy and Skippy, the Goodfeathers, Rita and Runt, Mindy and Buttons, Scratch and Sniff and Hello Nurse, Farfik Newton, the Hip Hippos, Minerva Mink, Plots and Ralph, Chicken Boo, and a mime. But that being said, all these characters had a special place in me since I was a kid, and seeing them interact with each other felt real special. Almost like when the cast of Tiny Toons interacted with each other.
Whoa, man! You're working your cuteness on me, man!
But truth be told, I really can't have a true favorite, especially in this movie. It was really hard for me to decide which of these characters were the best of the best. It felt like Tom really went all out with many of these characters, though some of them got a lot of focus, while others did not. Not to mention that they left out only a handful of other Animaniacs. Still, these ensemble casts are what make Animaniacs great, and I'll talk more about it when I review Animaniacs 2020 Season 1 next year. I kinda wish the whole series had more of these ensemble team-ups.
Tell me the story.
Okay. There once was a man from Nantucket.
Not that story.
Ironically, for a series that enjoyed taking potshots at Disney of all companies, this movie felt a lot like a Disney-like film. There's way more songs packed into this than an entire episode of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, and they're pretty fun to listen to. My only gripe about this is that I wish there were more darker moments of this film. It's really interesting to see how down and depressed the entire ensemble cast went through, like it sucked in your soul and turned it inside out. Maybe the next Animaniacs movie will make it even more depressing. Besides, if you're gonna rip off Disney, you might as well go all out.
And now it's your turn to get it.
Much like every other fool who messed with the Warners, King Salazar of Tiktakia kept falling for the same tricks over and over again. But what I liked about him was that he was willing to be as cruel as possible towards Ralph and Plotz, towards the Goodfeathers, the Warners, and especially towards the townsfolk. He even put the Warners through hell and back, and actually came close to killing the trio. Man, there should be more cruel villains like this guy. But it's too bad he didn't put them through Jaime Kellner. The nerve of that guy, screwing over the legacy of Animaniacs. Good night, everybody.
I was born that way.
Though it had released 21 years ago, Animaniacs Wakko's Wish was the grand finale to the original era of Animaniacs, bringing an ensemble cast to the stage and giving them one last time to shine. If you have Hulu, you should check this movie out, as it will give everyone at least something to smile at. Well, unless you're a mime.
I'm getting too old for this running gag.
Special thanks to J.C. Thornton for the Dot Warner model. Be sure to check out his DeviantArt page when you get the chance.